Hey up everybody, and welcome to Thursday. And today we've got a bit of a change of venue. If any of me Aberystwyth friends are watching this, I'm at what we call Wag Island, which is roughly about a 1 kilometre loop around the Welsh Assembly government buildings. Today's session is going to be 6 by 6 minutes, sub threshold, all off 90 seconds. I've just had an amazing warm-up. I've just covered 4.6 kilometers doing exactly what I normally do, same routine, same effort levels, and normally I cover about 4 kilometers. Today 4.6. So today's a good day, and because of that, running to pace with these sub threshold. When I've done them before, I've been roughly around 4:13, 4:14 a kilometre on the previous ones. So on this one, I'm going to aim for keeping it under the 4:10. To be honest, I really should be aiming towards the 4:05 a kilometre. Otherwise, my heart rate could possibly be too low and not be sub threshold. It could be like sub threshold. But enough wittering on. Let's get this done. Right, where that tarmac changes from these cobblestones, that's the start line. So let's crack on. Let's get this done. Oh, there we go. That's that one done. And I'm seriously having to hold back today. First one a little bit too quick than what I wanted, so I'm going to settle back. I'm still going to aim for the 4:05s, and I think that one or a 4:03. So bit naughty, but who cares. On to the next. Two down. This is going really well. This is just feeling so easy. I'm getting my heart rate right up to sub threshold, and I'm holding back. If I let the brakes off, I'd be well into 5k pace at an easy effort. This is brilliant. And another one done. I believe that's halfway. Oh wow, this is going really well. Four down, 2 to go. Wow, I am feeling absolutely full of beans today. This is so easy. I'm really having to hold back a lot. Five down, 1 to go. This is pretty much the best session I've done. This is going so well. This is the kind of paces that we're doing on the 3-minute intervals, and now I'm doing it on the 6. That's mad as a box of frogs, that is. Here we go. Session done. That was excellent. I can't wait to look at the data on that. Session done, and that went absolutely brilliant. I'm going to call this session the Goldilocks session because it was just perfect. I've just done 6 by 6 minutes at a pace that just a couple of weeks ago I was only managing to do the 3-minute intervals at. That's serious progression. This Norwegian Singles is really doing its magic. I'm so pleased. But before we go, you've got to see what's on my feet. Yes, we're still reviewing them. The Fedian 5 challenges by leaning, and this is with some more of my socks from Monkey Socks. Absolute brilliant shoes. I think, yes, I've made my mind up on these shoes already. I'm not going to finish the review until I've done my long run on Sunday, but everything I've done in these shoes this week has just been absolutely bob on. They're just right. They're just absolutely right. But that's enough wittering on. I've got to get stuff done now, so until tomorrow's 60 minutes easy, I'll see thee. Hey up everybody, and welcome to Friday. And it's that warm today, even the sky is sweating. But we've got a scheduled run. We've got 60 minutes nice and easy, and that run's got two purposes. The first purpose, well, that's just to increase the aerobic engine, working that low intensity. I just want to increase that LT1. And the other reason, and this is going to probably upset a lot of the sports scientists or people who know all the big words, but I'm going to give it you in really easy to understand English. So it's also for recovery, and how that works, because it does seem counterproductive. How can going out for a run help recovery? Well, the answer's down to blood flow. If you've got a good blood flow, then that's helping your body do its recovery magic. If you think about all the known like massage, recovery methods like massage, acupuncture, foam rolling, everything like that, that just encourages blood flow, and that helps you recover. But the key is to make sure that the recovery exercise you're doing is at a low enough intensity to allow it to be recovery and not to damage things any further. And at the moment, because I'm talking, running into the wind, my heart rate's lifted up to 127 beats a minute. Normally I'll be about the 120s or just under on one of these easy runs, but that's how that works. And knowing what you're aiming to do with your session before you head out really helps you achieve your goals. Oh, we're just coming to the end of this run now, and we're going out into the headwind again. This isn't going to be a big long distance on the easy run. This is just for getting out there in this nice pleasant weather and just getting it done. Let's have a look. Nearly there, another 30 seconds or so. Oh, there we go. Finished. Let's just stop that. Well, that's Friday's run finished and done, and I'm absolutely soaked through, but got it done. Another one in the bag. We don't miss days just because the weather's a bit rubbish. If it's really windy, then I'll use a treadmill, but skin's waterproof. I'm not bothered that much about the rain. On to tomorrow. Tomorrow's parkrun day. It is actually a pacer event at the Groe Parkrun, but I'm thinking now, weather depending, if we get favourable conditions, which means not really strong winds, I'm going to go for an absolute full send. I am actually scheduled to do one next week, but I'm thinking of bringing it forward a week so I can give these leaning Fedian 5s a absolute full send to see what they're like in in race paces, but I'll just show you them again now, and I'll show you the socks, because today, if you look on the back, they're Puma socks, and they were bought at the Puma flagship store down in London on Oxford Street when I got my Fast R3s, but the colour doesn't match them perfectly, but it's close enough. I'll make do with that. So time to get back, time to get cleaned up, usual deal. So until tomorrow's park run, I'll see you. Hey up everybody, and welcome to Saturday morning, and that can only mean one thing: it's park run day. Today we're at the Groe Parkrun. You can see the bridge behind me at Bilth, and today we're going to give it an absolute full send. So I'm feeling a bit nervous and also looking forward in equal measures. So let's get the warm-up done. I'll see you at the start line. 3, 2, 1, off we go! 3:48. $3.50. $3.49.
Come on, buddy.
Well, that went very, very well. I had over 70 kilometres on my legs when I started this, no taper, gone for an absolute full send and ended up with a course PB. My watch says 19 minutes and 2 seconds, which is a course PB by just over 5 seconds, I think. So absolutely thrilled, chuffed to bits with that. Really pleased. Definite signs of progress if I can get a time like that on such a high volume week. So long run tomorrow. Tomorrow I think it's 105 minutes, nice and easy. So until tomorrow, I'll see you. Hey up everybody, welcome to Sunday's long run, and we've come back through to the Groe Park today because it's an ideal place for some training, getting some good distance. We've got a mile of nice clean tarmac. We're right next to the car park, and in the car park there's a nice clean toilet and shower block. So it's got everything, it ticks all the boxes. Normally on a Sunday we have a chat about how things are going, how the progress has been, or I'll pick a subject to talk about. So progress has gone very well this week. I'll do a summary very soon of how things are going. I'm going to dedicate a whole episode to that. But for now, just know that the Norwegian Singles is working very, very well. And for today's subject, I was thinking about carbon shoes, carbon plated shoes, because I've been wearing these leaning Fedium 5 challenges all week, and they've got carbon plates. So these are my thoughts, and if there's anybody out there that's actually trained in the subject, some sports scientists or people who really understand the physiology of how things work, me with my logical way of thinking, I do think that carbon plated shoes are vilified for no reason. Firstly, I do believe a shoe rotation is really important. I've wore the same pair of shoes all week for testing purposes, and that's the one thing I don't like doing, because having the same pair of shoes, the same heel to toe drop, the same midsole, everything about that actually increases the chance of impact damage, because exactly the same areas of all my mechanics are getting the same impact loads over and over and over again. And if I was back up in normal shoe rotation, my feet are either a different heel to toe drop, or there's different midsole compounds resulting in different forces and different loads, and that's been proven to significantly reduce the chances of an injury. So as soon as this review's done, I'm back on my rotation. But what I want to talk about is actually carbon plate shoes as a topic, because they do get some bad press, and I think unjustifiably as well. So after a week of wearing mine, my legs haven't fallen off. I've got no aches, no pains, not pulled no muscles, not getting any hurting areas, and that's in carbon plated shoes. So the first point is, are people against carbon plated shoes because of being prejudiced, because it's different to what they used to, or because they believe it's a new technology that's wrong and cheating? I've got a couple of counter arguments for that, and the first one being called progress. It's what you call improvements. There's a lot of research done into things. Sports science is changing all the time, and what you put on your feet can really reduce the risk of injury and help with your running. And the last thing you want to do, in my eyes, is go back to the 1970s and put something on that's the thinnest layer of rubber between the soles of your feet and the floor, because that's going to cause a whole world of problems. And then you get the ones that think that carbon plate shoes should be banned because they're cheating, they shouldn't be allowed, it's a false technology and all that carry on. But my counter argument to that is, it's only runners that actually think that way. You look at all the cyclists where technology is much more advanced than running, and you think their approach to everything, you don't see them doing their training and their time trials on rally choppers because their 10 or 20,000 pound carbon fibre bike is cheating. It's called progress. So let's talk about people saying that the actual plate itself stops you feeling the ground, and having that hard plate under your sole can be damaging to your foot. Well, first and foremost, the whole point of footwear is to put a barrier between your foot and the floor. That's what it's designed for. And I don't want to wear anything like the old minimalist plinsolls, where the tiniest little pebble is going to feel like a Lego brick under my foot. And the other one is the thing about the carbon plate actually hurting and damaging your foot. And my counter to that one is, for many years people have worn safety boots on building sites where they've got big steel toe caps and they've got a sheet of steel in the sole to stop any nails or any sharp things from spiking up and hurting the feet. And you also get trail shoes that have been around for years and years and years, and they've got things called rock plates, which is a hard, usually a hard sheet of plastic. They've all got different clever names like TPU and things like that, but that's a solid sheet of something in your midsole to stop those sharp edges from hurting the soles of your feet. And even down to office workers who go to work every day in the nice leather brogues. Heart rates go up to 130 because I'm talking while I'm running. The soles of them brogues are made of the hardest leather, with no give in them whatsoever. And of those three, boots, trail shoes, brogues, nobody once ever has said, "Oh, these shoes are bad for you. These are going to hurt my feet," because they've got a really hard outsole, midsole, or a plate in them. So they get the green light, but because there's new technology of a carbon plate, that gets vilified. But this is a discussion. I am not trained as a sports scientist. I just see things logically, and if there's anybody out there with proper medical training who can actually enlighten me on if my thoughts are right, wrong, nearly right, or agree, disagree with them, let's start something going in the comments. I think, to summarise, I got a very simplistic view on shoes. The most number one thing is it comfortable, and regardless of what that shoe is, or how much that shoe costs, or what the manufacturer tells you it can do, or even what reviewers tell you, if it's not comfortable, I don't want it. I don't want to use it. And then the next question is, will the shoe do the job that I wanted to do on that particular day? So today I'm doing an easy run. I've got these carbon plated shoes on, but think about it logically. Are they comfortable? Yes, they are. Is it likely to hurt me by doing this run in them? No, it's not. Am I enjoying wearing them? Yes, I am. So that's basically it. And if I was going to do a speed session and I looked at my collection of shoes, that's pretty much the logic I use to pick my shoe out. Is it comfortable, and will it do the job? Everything after that is really just a secondary thought. If it's comfortable and it's going to do what you want it to do, it's a winner. And that's it. That's as easy as it gets. And that's why my top tier race shoes are special, because they're reserved for that special day when I really want that absolute 0.5% gain, and I'm willing to pay the premium for that. And then training shoes, will it work, won't it work? Is it comfortable, is it not comfortable? That's how I think. But that's my thoughts. Let me hear your thoughts. Do people think more about shoes, about the shoe choice? Or do some people have maybe one pair and that's it, they're happy with them? they're not really interested in having multiple pairs or having shoes for particular purposes, because ultimately running's individual and everybody's different. Everybody has likes and dislikes, and as long as it works for you, then your opinions on how you use your shoes isn't wrong. I've mentioned before that the shoe rotation is beneficial, but for all I know, there could be some people whose anatomy can't actually handle the differences. It could be counterproductive, and this is the discussion that I want to get going. So let's have it in the comments. We're all grown-ups here. If you want to say, Neil, you've just spent 20 minutes talking about absolute rubbish, go ahead and say it. You know, you're not going to upset me. Or if you've got similar viewpoints, great, get them in the comments. Oh. Run finished. There we go, 1 hour 45 minutes, nice and easy. I believe that was on a really low heart rate. I'll save this and we'll have a look at the details. Sunday long run done, and 18.8 kilometers with an average heart rate of 123 beats a minute. Fantastic, really pleased with that. That's a really high volume week. This week I introduced the 4x10 minute intervals, which means more time running and less time on the recoveries. So my weekly volume has gone up to just under 103 kilometers, about 102 point something. I'll put some data on the screen from this run. I'm also going to put data on the screen about the weekly totals. I'm going to put two of the bar graphs on. The one on this side will be the intensity, then you can see the difference between the easy days and the sub-threshold days, and on the other side we'll have the distance covered on those sessions. So that's it done for now. 60 easy tomorrow. Until then, I'll see you.